Sorry, I'm late. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about the lessons that I've learned while writing Go. Full disclosure, I am still super learning. About me, I work at Microsoft. I am a developer advocate on Azure. And if you're on Twitter, you've probably heard of it because we're hiring all the cool people. Sorry, not sorry. In my past life, I was a photographer. I did not get a CS degree, but I found out that my target market was actually photographers because they have no idea what they're doing. So I was building websites and Photoshop plugins and actions and all that kind of stuff. I learned that I really liked front-end development, and I found myself a couple years ago working with OpenStack, and I was like, let me learn Python. I want to contribute. So I started off small. I started contributing to docs, and then I said, I'm going to learn Python because what's the difference between art and pizza? Pizza can feed a family of 4, and photography cannot. So I made a decision to learn to code. And with that decision came some terrible decisions. Boot camps are great. I'm sorry if any of you went to a boot camp. It's not an attack on you. It's an attack on boot camps. Boot camps are terrible. They promise to teach you all of the things that you'll need to know, and that you're going to leave a software engineer. They give you this fancy card. They say, listen, actually, you're a software engineer. If you don't believe that, you have imposter syndrome. I did not. I was just appropriately self-aware. So I'm minding my own business. I'm at OSCON in 2014. This is my accidental Gopher slide because I had no idea what Go was in 2014. I was at CLS, Community Leadership Summit, and I met Steve Francia. I was on this kick where I decided I wasn't going to say no to anything, even if it was terrifying, like speaking at DevOpsDays Raleigh. So I met Steve. Me and Steve are besties now. And Steve said, hey, Ashley, I am teaching a Introduction to Go workshop at OSCON. Do you want to do that with me? And I was like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard, Steve. Why would I do that? I haven't even written a Hello World. He was like, no, I'm already too smart and know all the things, and so I can't relate to people like you, so you can ask all the dumb questions. And I was like, that actually makes complete logical sense. So I started teaching this workshop with Steve, and it went super well. Surprisingly, I was shocked by how well it went because I was there. And so we've taught 5 or 6 of them now around the world, and we'll be doing it again at OSCON this year. On to the next slide. After the workshops, I was still not confident with my Go programming. I had only built a couple of CLI applications specifically for the workshop that we were giving. I hadn't had enough time to really dive in to the code. And so I was like, how am I going to contribute to this awesome community? Myth, you have to be a programming wizard to contribute. That's a horrible myth. There are many ways that you can contribute. I had a lot of great excuses though, like, I'm not that great of a developer, I just said that. I don't have a lot of time. I don't know what project to work on. But I am great at graphic design, and Go has this really cute mascot. It's a gopher. So I started making these little stickers, and those became really, really popular. So then I created this avatar generator because I was sick and tired of making stickers. This was also really popular. If you tweet and you're in the Go community, you've probably seen a few of these. Okay, enough about me, nobody cares. why Go? So Go is a language for modern programming. We'll get to why I say that in a bit. It was also created by total geniuses. So like, why would you not want to use Go? Like, look at the accomplishments of these people. It's highly performant. Go is very, very basic. It's very, very simple. It's one of the few languages that was created after computers had more than one core. So keep that in mind for next. It's simple. So I'll let you guys read this. I won't read all of this to you, but this was the foundation on which Go was made. It makes it feel like a scripting language, which is another win for Go when it comes to performance. And the really cool thing is that it does not suffer from continuous language changes. In fact, that's a big premise in Go. Concurrency. Concurrency is also a huge part of Go. Go has built-in support for concurrency with Go routines and channels. This makes Go a natural choice when writing back-end systems with messaging, caching, and scalability requirements. It's particularly attractive to programmers that are coming from a single-threaded language like Ruby, Python, and others. Not that those languages don't support that, it's not so great. Rob Pike does a really good talk on this actually on YouTube. Concurrency is no parallelism is what the title is. And deployment. Go compiles everything into statically linked binary files, so no dependencies are required. So you have a single binary to deploy. This simplifies deployment a lot. You don't have to worry about if your users have Ruby or if the JVM installed, for that matter. You don't need to worry about a dependency being upgraded since the entire program is compiled in a single binary. It's also widely adopted. These are a few of the companies that are powered by Go. As well as some that may or may not surprise you. And then lastly, on the brag about why you should use Go, it was ranked number 5 in most loved languages and number 3 in most wanted. So one of the great things about Go is that it's really easy to read. Scales well across teams, it's open source, really helps when you get older and you can't remember why you wrote some simpler the better. Like I said, single binary, really thin runtime, concurrency with 3 characters, lightweight syntax. So what I'm drilling in is like it's easy, it's really simple. Well, let's go back in time for a second. Remember when we used to dial in the web? I'm sure some of you don't even remember that. Or when CPUs double in speed every 18 months. And now we're literally all connected because cat memes. Cat memes are life, you guys. The point is that most computer languages were designed for a different era. Today, our applications are using multiple microservices for maintaining database connections, message queues, caches. The software that we develop and the programming languages we use should support concurrency easily. And they should also be scalable with increased number of cores. But most modern programming languages like Java, Python, etc. are from the 90s, single-threaded environment. Most of these programming languages support multi-threading, But the real problem comes with concurrent execution, thread locking, race conditions, and deadlocks. Makes it kind of hard, but that's why Go was here. So in 2009, Go came along, and multi-core processors were already a thing. So that's why Go has built-in concurrency. Go routines instead of threads. You don't deal with threads, but rather create cheap Go routines, which are simple to make and manage. They also allow you to distribute the load across all of your CPUs without worrying how to manage it all. Okay, we're finally in lessons learned. So some of these are non-technical and some of these are technical. Nobody succeeds alone. Literally 0 people do. So I want to shout out to some of the people that mentor me, and you would think that with a list this impressive that I would be much cooler than I am. GoPath, pain in the ass. When I first started Go, it took me 3 days. That sounds like it's a long time. It's one of the first things that you'll have to handle when you're writing Go. You set up your GoPath directory anywhere on your computer, complete with your bin, source, and package directories, then you can begin writing. I put mine under my home directory, just to be safe, because that's what Steve told me to do. So Go forces you to define your root directory for all of your Golang goodies. They say that they do it for a good reason. I have yet to determine that. So package layout becomes super important when you find out that Go doesn't support circular dependencies between packages. So if A imports B and B imports A, Go will give up and complain. Which I kind of like sometimes. It kind of forced me to think about my application's domain model. Then there's dependency management. NPM, PyPy, each of these package managers are synonymous with their language, right? Go doesn't really have an official package manager yet. The community is amazing though, so the community has created some really cool things. Right now I am using dep, Go root, Go path, super weird. So Go imports are kind of done in a weird way, I think. Maybe you don't. Unlike other languages, Go basically requires you to have your source in a pre-configured folder. I'm not going to delve into the details of that right now, but you can come talk to me about it later. Okay, so Rob Pike says that this is Go font, is Go format. So you'll never have to argue tabs versus spaces again. Go has standardized this, so it can reformat your code to comply with it. You don't need a web framework for Go. This is one of my favorite things about Go. The creators and the community have built so many tools natively supported by language core. For example, it has HTTP, JSON, HTML templating built into the language natively, and you can build a very complex API services without even thinking. But of course, there are also other libraries out there. Oh shit, we're in my conclusion already. So in conclusion, Go is a performant and simple language with concurrency naturally built into it. Deployment is easy and can be created by some of the, deployment is easy as can be, is what I said in my notes, sorry. Go was created by some of the best minds in the industry. Has a lot of momentum and it's growing more and more every day. So the question is, why aren't you building with Go?